Hi guys, welcome to today's lesson and to my messy desk. I've actually already recorded the video, so it's a long one, as you've probably already seen, so bear with me. It's Getting Better Man from the third Oasis album on Be Here Now. I remember buying this as a, 14, 15 year old, something like that when it came out and being a little disappointed. And now I quite like it. It's got a lot longer songs in it, so this song itself is 6-7 minutes. It's a really long song. And that's what you get on Be Here Now. I think some people would say bloated, and I think sometimes it does feel a bit like that as an album, but actually I think there's some really cool bits in it, and this is a great example where actually you've got an intro, verse, pre-chorus, chorus, which is a classic Oasis song, but then you've got this really extended solo in the middle, which is a bit weirder and a bit different with this riff into this kind of ascending scale pattern. So it's a really cool, interesting song. As you've probably seen, and as I've already mentioned, it is a long video, as with a lot of these ones are, so I like to be as accurate as possible. I looked at a live version, which I'm going to link down below, to help me with some of the ideas as well and help me just work out certain bits. And as I've recorded it, I've mentioned when I've used those, particularly for how there's certain shapes. For example, in the chorus, the way Noel Gallagher plays the chords is not how I would do it, so it's interesting that that's how he would do it. And the picking and stuff like that, which I find really interesting. It's a really cool live version as well. I'm very tempted to do a video on the solo, which I might do at some point. That outro solo is classic Noel Gallagher. But anyway, I'm already just adding video length, aren't I? So strap yourselves in, grab a pen and paper and some, tab paper and your guitar, and get ready because we're going to go through the whole thing. So the next thing you'll hear will be me playing the intro, and then we'll go through the intro, then we'll play the verse, etc, etc. But good luck, and I'll see you on the other side. Okay guys, so that was the intro. There's actually loads of different guitars going on, so I've just cut through with one of the guitars there, which I think is the one that sounds the coolest and is not a solo. So basically it comes in somewhere around 7 seconds or so on the original track with an A power chord. So I'm just actually going to bar that second fret on the D and the G, and then you just play A, D and G, let that ring. Then I'm going to go another one of those power chords, A power chords, but this time it's going to be just the A and the D string. Then I'm going to go to an A6, which literally just means we hit the 4th fret on the D string, which is the F sharp note. So we got. Then I'm going to go from this 6th up to the flat 7. Which is 4th fret on the D up to 5th fret on the D. Now, you can move your hand. On the live version, it looks like that's what Noel Gallagher does. I prefer not to do that and use my pinky. But do whatever works for you, you know? So. Then I'm going to re-pick that 5th fret on the D with the open A. Back to 4th fret. Back to the A. So I'll play it slowly. It's probably the easiest way rather than talking through it. So it's. Basically it's, so it's A6, A6, A7, A7, A6, A6, A. Pretty simple stuff. So yeah, feel free to move your hand though. That works absolutely fine. That's what Noel Gallagher does. There's this really cool riff. It is in the original, but you can hear it really clearly in the live version. If I do it right. It's just there's a little pause after that to get back to the A before you do the riff, which is very tempting to do straight away, but he doesn't. Again, I'll link the live version down below, as I was saying in my intro. And that'll hopefully you can really hear how he does that riff. So it's going to be open E, 3rd fret E with a little curl, open A, 3rd fret A, open A, back to the A again. So as soon as you hit that open A, you then strum the A power chord again. A to A6, A6 to A7, A7 to A6. Then big pick slide. I need to change my strings. I always think pick slides often work better with newer strings. That's basically the main bulk of the intro, which takes us to what, somewhere around 20 seconds or so. Now there's loads of guitars. There's a solo guitar. There's a guitar that continues this riff, which is what I did, which is what I played, and then there's another guitar that's just playing an A blues, which is what Bonehead is doing on the live version. He's doing his blues up here with this shape. He's playing 5th fret on the D and the E with a bar, 7th fret on the A, and then 6th fret on the G, and then he's using his pinky to grab that 9th fret on the A to get the blues sound, and that's his shape he's using throughout the piece. We're not going to do that because that's way too hard. So what I did is I continued the riff, just the same. And all I'm doing there is like a traditional 12-bar blues style. 2 A's, an A6, which is where we hold the 4th fret on the D string, and then back to that A5, which is what a power chord is called. So we got, and then you start the A. Yes, the final, what would normally be just a normal A power chord, as we then go on to the next bar, we actually hit a bigger A in this version, so we end up with this at the end. And then we're back into the riff. Okay? And that basically takes us from about 21 seconds to about 36 seconds in the song. I've got this written down just over here, so that's how I know that accurately. I don't just remember it. But you can do any of those parts. You can do the A bit up here like Bonehead. You could just chug an A. You could do the solo. You could, or you could do this bit, which is another guitar, another layer in the piece. So that's basically the intro. As usual, I'm going to try and play these pieces slowly. So I'm going to do what I did not that long ago, fast. I'm now going to do it slow, if that makes sense. So let's do that. Okay, really cool section here. We're going to basically go through the same thing 3 times, and then on the 4th time, there's just going to be the final bar that changes. So it's a nice big repeat section. This is what we're calling the verse, okay? We reprise this again later, but it's half the length. So this is what we've got. It's going to be an A chord. Now I'm going to go through a rhythm here, which is not necessarily the rhythm you'd have to play. Feel free to do your own interpretation of it, but I'm going to give you a rhythm for people to practice, particularly if you're less able as a guitar player. Sometimes it's easier to have a specific rhythm to practice, so that's what I'm going to give you, but feel free to be a bit free with it. And as I said before, Bonehead would be doing this shape. If you prefer to do that shape, feel free completely, because he does. But Noel Gallagher's playing it down here, and that's where we're going to do it again to make it a little bit easier for people. So this is our rhythm. It's a 12-bar blues style thing. So we're going to play 2nd fret on the D, which is an A5, with the open A obviously as well. And we're going to play 4th fret on the D, which is an A6. Okay, got my words out eventually. Got a little buzz from my pickups. Need to get a Les Paul really, don't I? Anyway, so I'm going to play the A twice and then the A6, so the A5 twice, the A6 once, and that's going to be my first 2 beats. So it's going to be 1 and 2. Then I'm going to do what I always think of as a traditional 12-bar blues style: 2 A5s, an A6 and an A5. That's my first bar. I'll play that again for you slowly. Okay, which works out as 1 and 2, 3 and 4 and. So, bar 2 of this little sequence, we're actually not going to play on the first beat, we're going to play on the and of 1, again with the 2nd fret on the D. So it'd be 1 and. Then I'm going to play the A6 after that, so 1 and 2. So it's like the first bar, but we miss out the first A5 chord. And then the second half is our traditional A blues: 2 A5s, an A6 and an A5. Okay, so let me do bar 2 slowly for you. So if I count in 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. I slowed it down a bit too much there. For my count, it was too fast. But hopefully you get the point. Bar 3, this is the exciting one. We're going to do a B power chord. I like to bar this. So it's 2nd fret on the A. I'm going to bar with my ring finger, 3rd fret on the D. 4th fret on the D and the G with my 3rd finger. Feel free to play it like that. Again, Bonehead does, I believe, play it like that in the video, which is 3rd finger on the 4th fret D, pinky on the 4th fret G. But I like to bar it, so that's what I'm going to do. 2 down strums here. This is on the 1 and the 2 of bar 3, so it's going to be 1, 2. We're then going to move to a G power chord. So G5, so that's 3rd fret on the E, 5th fret on the A and the D. Again, I shall bar. This is going to be quicker because we're effectively playing on 3 and. Both down strums by the looks of what they're doing on the live video. I'd rather do down up, but they're doing down down, so that's what we're going to do. And then we're going to head to an A, again an A power chord. You could even do a full A chord there, but it seems unnecessary, but you definitely could do. Okay, so let me do that bar 3 for you. And then bar 4 is going to be exactly the same as bar 2. We're going to miss out the first beat and play on the and of 1 with this A5, and then the A6 on the 2, and then back to that traditional A blues. A5 twice, A6, A5. Okay, so let me play through all 4 bars for you now, slowly, and then we're going to go through the variation we get before we head to the pre-chorus or the bridge, depending on what you want to call it. I like to call it pre-chorus. So I shall. Let me play it slowly for you. So as I said before, we play that 3 times in a row exactly like that. Then on the 4th time, we do the first 3 bars exactly the same, which is this. Okay. And then on the 4th bar, we're going to do this. We're going to, again, miss out the first beat and do the A5 on the and of 1, and then the A6 on the 2nd beat, so it'd be 1 and 2. Then I'm going to do another A power chord on the 3rd beat of the bar, but then I'm going to play 3rd fret on the E, 2nd fret on the E, then an E power chord, which is 2nd fret on the A and the D. So that 4th bar that time becomes 1. Do it again. Try and lean forwards a bit so you can see a bit better. 1. Couldn't help with vibrato then, I just could not help myself. Okay, and that's going to lead us into the bridge. So let me play through for you nice and slowly that 4th and final time that we go through it. as I said previously, we do that first time, you know, 3 times with the riff, and then that 4th time with that final bar variation. Now the second time we come into the verse, we actually do half of that. So we do it once through with the normal, and then once through with the final bar change, and that's it, okay? And that's our second verse, okay? So the first verse is 16 bars, the second verse is 8 bars, and we effectively do the second half of the verse. Hopefully that makes sense. So let's us do the bridge. No, pre-chorus. Whatever you want to call it. Call it what you want. Okay, so pre-chorus, bridge, bit. So we've just come in with this walk from the previous bit. I'm going to then do 2 more E's, and then a G, then 2 more G's, then an A. That's my first bar of the pre-chorus. And then basically I'm going to do a little 12-bar blues. So 2 A5s and A6. Now, do I do another A5 after that straight away? Sometimes, to be honest, but I would probably say you can just hold that A6. But I quite like to throw in an extra A5, so the 2 differences are this. Or, I mean, it's a tiny difference, isn't it? But I would preference the second one there, okay? So I'm going to go A5 twice, A6 once, A5, and then another A5 on the 3rd beat of the bar, and then I do the walk just like we did in the verse. 3rd fret E, 2nd fret E, then I'm going to do the E chord. 2 more, 2 G's, 2 G's and an A. Exactly the same. 2 more E's and a G, 2 G's and this time a D. Now, where do you want to do this D power chord? You could definitely do it up here, but it looks like Noel Gallagher on the live version does it here. So this is 2nd fret G, 3rd fret B, and a dead high E string, so it's a D5 chord. And that's going to come in on the and of 4, okay? And what would be the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5th bar of the bridge? 1, 2, 3. I've got it written down. It feels like it should be the 6th. Anyway, and then we're going to do 2 whole bars of just tapping D, but I miss out the first beat of the next bar. So go on the and of 4, so it'd be 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1, 2, and 3, and 4, and 1, and 2, and 3, and 4, and. Okay, so you do 1 on its own, and then you miss the first beat of the next bar, and then you do 8 plus 7, which I believe is 15. Okay, so relatively simple section. Again, you can mess around a little bit with the rhythms, but that sounds best to me and is pretty close to what they're doing both live and on that and on the original version. Okay, so let me play that through for you slowly. So we've just come from this bit. That's on the and of 4 of the verse. So now we're going into the pre-chorus here. Okay, so let's go through this chorus again. Nothing too crazy here. Lots of the same kind of bluesy feel to everything. We've got a new chord. We're going to do an F sharp power chord, and we're going to do a B, which is we could do as a bar chord or a power chord. They both work absolutely fine. In the live version, Noel Gallagher's actually just playing an normal A chord into this version of an F like this with his fingers over, like he does in Supersonic. But we're just going to do it kind of a bit simpler than that, more a la Bonehead, again, to keep things simple for you guys. But if you want to try it like that, you know, feel free. So 12 bar bluesy feel now. It's going to be, so it's going to be 2 A5s and A6 and then another 2 A5s. So it's going to be 1 and 2 and 3. Then an open E. You could do an E power chord, but it doesn't look like they do live, so I didn't bother. I just did an open E. That seems to be what they're doing. Then we're going to hit this F sharp power chord. So 2nd fret on the E, and then 4th fret on the A and the D. You could do like a, but again, it doesn't sound like that's what they're doing. It sounds more like a power chord. Lots of down strums on the F sharp, nice and simple. So we're hitting that first one on the and of 4 of that first bar. So I'm going to let that go across, and then on the and of 1 of the next bar, I'm going to basically do 7 strums. Again, like all the rhythms, you could change that slightly, it wouldn't matter, as long as you get the move in the right place. That bit, do what you want on that chord. You could just do it, and it would work absolutely fine as well. But we're going to do it with 7 down strums in this video, because I think that makes a lot of sense and feels quite natural to do. We're going to do that just like that 3 times, okay, which is 6 bars. And then the final time I'm going to do a B. I'm going to bar my ring finger across the B string as well. So it's going to be 2nd fret on the A and then 4th fret on the D, the G and the B. But I'm not necessarily going to try and hit the B string. So a power chord works absolutely fine. It's 4 downs, but you can hear the 3rd down is a shorter note. So it'd be 1, 2 and 3. No, sorry. It'd be 1, 2, 3 and. That's better. I did that and I was like, no, that doesn't sound right. And with this D5, I'm going to do the same rhythm as I did on the F sharp, which is the first down strum on the and of 4 of bar 7, and then 7 more on that bar 8. So it would be 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 2, 3, and 4. And then we repeat the whole thing again, which I'm going to do for you now, nice and slowly. Okay guys, so riff time. So this comes in about 1:51, right after the first chorus, and this is the first time we get a look at this riff. Now I have the official tab book for this album, and it's not amazing, and it's particularly not good for this riff because it has it written lots of different times in lots of different ways, but this is how he plays it live, and this sounds just like the record, so it's great. So it starts with an open D, or I'm doing a D5 because I think it sounds cooler, but you could just do an open D note. Like going. Okay, so choose whichever of those you prefer. On the live version, he's definitely hitting a chord. It's a bit harder to hear it sometimes because we're going to talk about how many times we do the riff in a sec, but later on it's a bit hard to hear. But that sounds cool to me. 3rd fret on the A, 2nd fret on the A, 3rd fret on the A, 3rd fret on the A, pull off 3 to 2 on the A, 3rd fret on the E, that's it. All down picks. Now that's not how I'd like to play it, but that is how he plays it live, so that's how we're going to do it, all with down picks. So now we've nearly done the whole song. So at 1:51, we've just done the first chorus, okay? We do that riff once, and then we're going to do a little section between that goes up to about 210 or so, between about 154 or so, and then about 210, where we're just going to do the intro a couple of times through. So. Now you can just chug along on that A, particularly a la Bonehead. You can do that as well if you want, or you can solo, which is probably what I'd actually do. Always hit a pinched harmonic. Whatever you prefer. But you can just do the intro a couple of times, works really, really nice. It's 4 bars long. So then we've got the verse again out. I've already discussed it's a half verse. So that's from about 210 to about 224, half a verse. Pre-chorus just the same as before, 224-ish to 239 in the song. Then the chorus from 239 to 309, exactly the same as the first chorus. It's twice through. So it's 16 bars in total, twice through that 8-bar kind of repeat. Then we've got the solo, okay? Now, I believe it's the riff 8 times. That's what I've written down, so I hope that's right. In the live version, it actually looks like Bonehead's just literally playing a C/G for most of that time. If you can just see his hand a few different times, he's always playing a C/G. So feel free to just play that, but playing the riff's more fun. I think it's 8 times. I've written ×4, and then I've written a gap and then ×8. So we're going to say ×8. Hopefully I was right the second time. And then we've got this, you could actually just keep doing the riff, but then we've got this kind of section where we're moving along a scale. Oops. Which is that scale. Okay. D minor, but we're missing out some notes. But in the live version, Bonehead's playing it with chords, with D-shaped chords. So I'm going to show you that bit now, and then you can play it in a few different ways. It's a D chord first, then an F, which is 5/6/5, then a G, which is 7/8/7, then an A, which is 9/10/9, then a B flat, so one more fret, 10/11/10. Then we're going to do a C. There it is, which is 12/13/12, and then all the way up to the octave at D. And then we have a little stop after that. So you could do it with chords here. There's the D there at 17 and 19. But that's how they do it on the live one. So you could do it just the note as well, as long as you do those notes. But that doesn't sound as good, does it? So it's just it's getting better, man, and then you're in. Yeah, so whichever way you want to do that, you know, for me, I'd always think about trying to play the solo. So that's what's immediately coming into my brain is how I'd solo over that section. But that's what's going underneath. And if you're someone who wants to play this like on an acoustic, you probably would just miss that whole section out. But if you didn't want to, you could do it one of those 3 ways: single notes, bar chords, or those D shapes along. Those D triads, D-shaped triads is what I'm trying to say. I can't get my words out. So that's the solo. Now we just play that as written. We literally just, as I just played it, go up along it after doing the riff possibly 8 times. And then we've got the chorus. The chorus is exactly the same. It's that same 8-bar sequence, but we're going to do that 8-bar sequence 10 times, okay? So I'm not going to play that through for you now because that would take ages, and this is a long enough video as it is. So it's just the chorus as we've already learnt it, but 10 times. And then once we've done that 10 times, we're going to do the riff again, and then we end on an A. So that kind of end outro is something along the lines of... And then you you do some kind of improv solo whilst that's ringing. Whatever you wanted to do. So that's the whole song, isn't it? We've got through everything now. So hopefully I've gone through the structure as well, gone through all the bits. Excellent. Next thing you see is my face as I talk about everything in the world. Okay, thanks for watching. As you might have worked out if you've made it this far, I'm literally recording this outro right after I recorded the intro, after I've recorded the video. So if you got this far, well done. You've done really well. It's a really cool song. As I said in the intro, I like this album a lot more than I did as a 15-year-old, maybe because I'm a bit older now. But anyway, yeah, it's a really cool song, lots of interesting parts, a really nice riff as well, and that little scalic ascending section is really interesting, and then the stop, and then you're into the chorus again, is really, really good. Someone asked me for this, and I stupidly didn't write down their name, as I normally would do to remind me, but so I apologise I didn't write down your name, but whoever asked for this, thank you very much. Obviously, it's a bit of a weird time at the moment, because I'm recording this on the something of April. Don't know, it's actually Good Friday in 2020, so I've had a lot of requests for new songs, so I'm trying to write them all down and start trying to get through some of those, which will be fun for me. So yeah, if you made it this far, well done. Thanks for watching. Please do all the normal subscribing and liking things. It really, really helps. And I'll see you guys again soon for some more cool guitar stuff. I'll see you guys soon. Bye bye.